thank you for joining us today. This session is on creating interactive activities with Google Tools, brought to you by the Technology Training Team, also known as T3. For all your remote teaching needs, all of your presentations, recordings, and resources can be found at bit.ly/PGCPS remote teaching. We will be reviewing various Google tools and talk about ways we can make them interactive. Please note, this is not an introductory session. To get introductory information on Google Tools, please go to our remote teaching site under Connecting with Students and select Google Drive Tools. We will be making the basics of Google Tools to enhance and engage your students through interactive activities. Our goal for today is for you to not just learn the Google tools, but learn how to use the tools in a meaningful and an engaging experience. Our goal for today is for you to not just learn the Google tools, but learn how to use the tools in a meaningful and engaging experience. The series of tasks that we will show you today are inspired by Matt Miller's Tech Like a Pirate, where we will talk about ways to collaborate, gamify, use storytelling, and social media. We will expose you to a variety of different activities that you can interact with and learn how to create not just a lesson, but an experience for your students. For the best experience, please use the Chrome browser. We are also providing a link for you in the chat for more information on Tech Like a Pirate. And now to take you into an experience. For whoever started this game at the beginning of 2020, please finish it quickly. Again, today's session has been gamified to enhance your learning experience. Your field guides for today are...
Hello everyone, Clarissa Burton, the Googler, knower of all things Google.
Hi everyone, I'm Renee Henderson, the clever one, the knower of all things clever. You got this.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kim Robertson. My team calls me the leader and the knower of everything. Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Marianne Santos. I am the Zoomologist, knower of all things Zoom.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jake Foschel. I work with the Technology Training Team. We hope that you enjoy today's experience. And if your camera is still on, just like in Jumanji, this counts as losing one of your lives. So disable that camera so everybody can enjoy the experience. Thanks.
For our first trip on the Jumanji map, we head to the deep valleys of Google Forms. Throughout this session, you will embark on a journey to unlock the 4 tasks we are asking you to complete to get the jewel and save Jumanji. To save Jumanji, use the Google form to track your progress. We have provided you the link for you in chat. It's tinyurl.com/Jumanji breakout, where you will need to open in a separate tab. So go ahead and join us in the link. Here, you'll see it is a Google form. And for you to complete the task throughout this adventure, you must unlock the 4 locks. The first lock we are giving you is for free, just for joining the game. Whenever you type the answer in the box, make sure to use all caps and no spaces. For example, here on the first lock, the game lock, if you type in an incorrect keyword, for example, hello, then click enter, you'll see a notification. It says still locked, try again. If you type the correct keyword, in which this case the keyword is T3 rocks, then click enter, you'll see the notification goes away. When the notification goes away, that means you have typed it in correctly. Please remember that you cannot submit this form yet until you get all of the keywords for all of the locks. Now, the point of this Google form again is to create an experience for your students. Similar to escape rooms and digital breakouts, you can use Google Forms to create a virtual experience by creating digital locks for students to open. You can give a variety of tasks and activities for them to practice a skill or a concept. For each task they complete to unlock a lock. When they complete the task with the correct keywords, students then can submit their Google form to receive a reward. For the sake of time, we won't be showing you how to create this Google form, but we will be providing you a template and a tutorial video at the end of this journey that you can take and customize for your needs. For the remainder of this adventure, keep an eye out for clues to unlock the remaining 3 locks to capture the jewel and save Jumanji. You see me here holding this very big clue. T3 rocks, again, is the answer to the first game lock. Good luck, my friends. I believe in you, for the fate of Jumanji is in your hands. Now on to our next field guide, Clarissa the Googler, as we head to level 1 using social media in the lush green mountains of Google Drawing.
Welcome, everyone, as we begin our journey in level 1 using social media to create an experience. We know that our students are engaged or interested in many of the social media platforms and apps. So why not use this to engage our students in learning? Well, our social media apps aren't really a good place to be using in the classroom, right? We know that we have privacy issues and that there are age limits, so we really can't use social media apps. But what we can do is we can recreate the experience of the social media apps. So for example, we can use the short video clips, we can use images and the music and the taglines, the things that the students enjoy about the social media, and put it into that safe place. So our safe place would be like using Google Slides or Google Drawings. We have a lot of examples that we are going to post in the chat here that take you to a link to Matt Miller's site for Tech Like a Pirate, and there are a lot of different hooks and learning examples there. So think about Instagram, where you can put in images over time. Why not have them, instead of writing a biography on a famous historical person, why not have them create an Instagram account for that person where they're posting what their Instagram would have looked like during that time. So just getting a little bit creative on how we might do that learning experience. So today we're actually going to create a TikTok using Google Drawings. And if you are unfamiliar with Google Drawings is part of the G Suite for Education. You will find it in your Google Drive if you select Create and go down to More. And Google Drawings is really a blank template. So the possibilities are endless. If you can think it, you can create it in Google Drawings. And if you're a Google Slides user, it's very similar to Google Slides. You're going to find that the toolbar and the accessibilities are almost identical. And to get you started, I do have a Google Slides presentation. It will be linked, so if you want this resource, you'll find it on the Remote Teaching website. So you can go there. There's videos and instructions to all different types of things you can do with Google Drawings. And at the end of that presentation, you will find some more resources on ways you can use Google Drawings in the classroom. These are all templates that are available for you that you can edit and recreate for your students. So let's get started in our mission for today. And we are going to create that TikTok for Google Drawing experience. And your mission will be to become the next Jumanji Field Guide TikTok influencer. We have posted a link in the chat for you to click on so you can follow along with me as we design our TikTok. So please hold any comments in chat so everyone will be able to click on that link and join in this experience with us. So give everyone some time to click on that link and open it up. While you are doing that, once you get to this screen, I want everyone to choose Make a Copy. It's that blue box in the middle. It's going to save this TikTok in your drive where you'll be able to also access it later. So go ahead and click Make a Copy when that file opens. While everyone is loading their own TikTok experience, just a little bit about TikTok if you are unfamiliar with that app. TikTok is really popular right now with celebrities and our students, as well as becoming a family activity where you can create short videos and then as well add in music to go with those videos as well. But today we're just going to use an image for time's sake, so we're going to go ahead and just use an image to recreate a TikTok for this learning experience here. So I see some of you are unable to get in, so I will provide another link in chat, and hopefully you'll be able to join us there. So right now I'm just doing a forced copy to everyone. All right. So we'll try one more time there. We'll post that link, and you should be able to get in. So just a little overview of this template as we are waiting for people to be able to get in. Over here on the right-hand side down at the bottom, you'll see that this was adapted from Matt Miller's TikTok for Google Slides. And what it does is this is actually using Matt Miller's Google Slides template, and we just put it in Google Drawings for this experience today. So you are free to access that template as well if you're interested in using Google Slides. We also have directions on what will be available for this template. So if you are interested in just following along, reading the directions on the right, you can do that as well. All right, on the left-hand side, you will find that you are able to, there are some GIFs here available. So these GIFs you can use instead of having to search for your own image, they are there for you to use as well. And then down at the bottom, there's just another template if you decide that you need to not have black icons on the phone and you want white icons depending on the image you choose. And if you're unable to follow along with us, you are welcome to join us as well and just watch on the screen, and then you can follow, recreate it later. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. So as we get started here, you'll notice there's a phone icon in the background. So we're just mimicking what the TikTok experience would feel like for the students. You can pull that one, like I said, one of those GIFs on the left-hand side, or you can add in your own image. So for example, if you wanted to pull in your own image for this, you could choose Insert. You can go down to Image, and you can go then over to Upload from Computer. You can search the web. So if you're looking for an image to use, you can search the web there. You can choose an image from your drive. Add a photo, so a photo from your library. You can insert by URL. So if you love using GIFs, by URL is how you will add in those GIFs. And the last one is camera. So the camera actually enables your webcam. So if you want to take a picture of yourself for your TikTok, you can do that there as well. All right, so from there, I'm actually going to use one of the GIFs on the side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull in this gift over here on the left. So working from home, it is one of my favorites. And I'm going to drag it out so it fits here on the screen. So I'm going to drag it in from the right. And then I'm going to pull it down. So I'm going to pull it down so it does fit the phone. So I'm going to pull it down one more time. All right, so now my image here fits the full access of the phone. From now, we notice that we can't see the icons. So the icons are behind this photo itself. So what I need to do is I need to pull this image and put it behind the phone. And to do that, I'm going to take the image and I'm going to go up to arrange in the toolbar. And I'm going to choose to go down and choose order. And I'm going to choose to send all the way to back. So now we have that image behind the icons on the screen, and you are able to see them as well as the image itself. From there, we're going to need to add in our username. So every TikTok has a username, so we're going to add a text box. So up in the toolbar, I'm going to select the T for text box, and I'm going to click on my screen. I will drag that in from the right, and I'm just going to make my username here. At, and in all caps, remote star. And for this example, I'm not going to add in music, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in a title of a song. So instead of actually putting in music here like we would on TikTok, we're just going to say what song it would be. So I would press enter and then maybe choose a song that I could type in here. So then down at the bottom, I am going to pull up this gem here as we are going along, because this gem might be a big clue to our game today, remote star there. So if you want to go ahead and add that as well. And then you're done. So you've done your TikTok. So really easy for students to be able to engage in. They would insert an image or a video, and then they could just arrange it, send it to back, and add in that text. All right, so right now we're going to stop for questions. I know that some of you were unable to access the link. We do have a link in chat. I know some of them were able to access that. So if you can access, if you weren't able to access, you can access that later to follow along. Yes, so remote star was that clue. So if you want to go ahead and put that clue in our Jumanji breakout, you will scroll down and add in that social media clue, remote star. And again, social media is not necessarily what we're actually using. We're just recreating that experience for our students. So we're using it in a different way and using Google Drawings or slides for that as well. All right, and so what I'm going to do is while we are answering those questions in chat, I am going to pass this along to our next field guide.
Now on to our next field guide, Jake, the Big Bad Apple, as we trek to level 2, storytelling with animation in the arid desert of Google Slides.
For the next level, level 2, we're going to be talking about storytelling with animation using Google Slides. Keep in mind, as we told you at the beginning, we're not going to go over the steps of how to use Google Slides. We're looking at how to use Google Slides and animation for instructional ideas. So a bunch of different ways that you can use animation and create essentially flip books with Google Slides. Some of these are ones that you will do for your students. Some of them, it is what you would ask of your students to do. It can be for critical thinking. It can be to retell a story. They can label parts of a cell, explain math problems, a lot of different ways that you might want to use this for instruction. So a couple of the ways that we're going to be taking a look at, and we're going to look at these briefly, just a quick reminder for this particular level in Jumanji, we're looking at, this is a demonstration, so not necessarily a follow along, and we will be providing the resources to get you started as we move forward. So one of the examples is to demonstrate how to complete a task before providing it to your students. The example that we had was, I want my students to be able to use a math mat, and I want them to show me how sorry folks, let me see if I can get it open again. I want my students to be able to show me how to make 12 cents. So they're going to get a slide deck that has the math mat number or coins on the left. I want them to move them to the right and then create. Very quickly, I made a short, sweet animation that pulls that over for them. I'm going to provide that as an actual demonstration for my students. Another sample that I have is the water cycle. In this animation, think back to Schoolhouse Rock. The background is staying consistent, nothing's changing, but the words walking through the process are the parts that are changing. So another way to do the animation. Another one created by students. They're talking about the development of seeds. I have text added to the page. I've got the development of the seed into a plant, and then in particular text that I want to add. And we can talk about how they can build that as they go. Another example is if they are telling a story. So I want to tell a story from here. I've got a live picture in the background. I've got two knights. I've got conversation happening. I've got a dragon coming in to see everything. They destroy the dragon. I've got text features that I'm talking about. I've got animation. I've got stage direction. So a lot of different elements from different parts of instructional practices. So those are a couple examples, and you'll be able to have access to those examples at the end. So how do we do the steps for animation? Doing animation is relatively simple. It's a lot of copy, paste, duplicate, so it's duplicating an entire slide, and then adjust and repeat. You're going to make incremental changes on each slide. You'll add new elements, and then the key to this is publishing to the web and then adjusting the timing numbers. You'll notice on the storytelling one, it went rather quickly. And if I wanted to evaluate this as a teacher, I want to be able to read the text and see it clearly. So I'm going to adjust the timing for that. And we're going to provide you that resource in just a minute so you'll be able to see that. When you take a look at this presentation later, the counting money template is going to give you the first opening slide with all the coins, and then you walk your way through. The water cycle template gives you the first part of the water cycle. And then there's a fantasy storyboard, similar to the one, but not the exact same one as I'm getting ready to show you. So I'm going to walk you through how we do that animation. So we're going to take a look at our Jumanji animation. It starts with a flat slide, and I'll show you that in just a quick second. What I want to show you is this. And we have this link at the end of the presentation so that you'll have access to it. This is how you publish to the web. So once I've completed my presentation, I'll be able to go to File. I'll scroll down to Publish to the Web. Down here. And then I'll make my setting changes. They're listed out here for you. And then how to adjust the timing is listed here. I'm going to walk you through all this, but we're also going to provide you with an additional resource that walks you through how to do this in a video format, a little bit slower for you. That way you can get a feel for it and you have time to practice. When I'm providing this to my students, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. I want my students to retell a story. So I'm going to set the background that I want for them. Maybe I'll provide the title. Maybe I'll just provide the title box at the top and let them fill in what they want it to be. To save time for my students, I'm going to add in all of the characters that are included in their story, and I'll add in all of my extra elements. and I'm going to put it on the outside space of the presentation. That's going to allow me, almost like color forms, I can click and add and drag in elements to my story. I want there to be text on each page. And I also want there to be dialogue. So I've added speech bubbles and I put them in different colors to match with each one of my characters. So I'm going to zoom back in just a little bit. And we'll see how quickly we can do an animation. So one of the things that I want to make sure that we take a chance to see, you'll notice that this bird is slightly on the page. This little piece here is there. So I want to be able to use that as my constant. So I'm going to click on my slide and I'm going to hit duplicate. It's going to make an exact duplicate. I'm going to move my bird onto the page. Not going to really do much with anything else, but I'm going to get rid of this title at the top because I only need that for the title piece. I'm going to take Renee and I'm going to move her just a bit forward. And because she's getting closer to the viewer, I'm also going to increase her size. I'm going to hit duplicate again. This time I'm going to grab my group in the back. I'm going to slide us all up a little bit. I'll make us a hair larger. I'm going to move Renee up again. Make her hair larger. And I'm going to move my bird across the page a little bit more. The other piece that I'm going to add, I'm going to grab the speech bubble and I'm going to drag it down and I'm going to add some text. Renee is asking, where is the next clue? So now I'm going to hit duplicate again. This time I don't need her speech bubble to be there, so I can get rid of that. I can move everybody across a little bit further. So I'm going to move my bird. Now, the more slides you make, the more smooth the transitions are going to be. I'm going to move Mary Ann. Oh, not the bird. I'm going to move Mary Ann up further. And I'm going to increase her up. And I'm going to grab another speech bubble and drag it down. And she says, look, a clue, shoe snake. So on this one, I'm going to slide the snake a little bit further over. I'm going to hit duplicate again. Now, if I take a look at my first slide, and I'm just going to use my arrow keys to see what the animation looks like, I can see the bird moving, and I can see all the elements moving across the page. I'm going to duplicate my last slide one more time. This time I'm going to move my bird most of the way off the page. I'm going to get rid of Marianne's text. I'm going to move her further up. I'm going to get rid of the snake. Now you'll notice that I can increase the size of objects just like you would on a regular slide. Any adjustments that you're making to your page are going to be able to be seen and adjusted for. So if I want to throw in a giraffe now running onto the page, and I can again send that to the back if I wanted to. Order. Sorry, a slight delay on my computer. And I can make adjustments from there. So now when I scroll through, I can see the different changes that are occurring. You'll notice, hint, hint, there's your third clue. Now the key to this is publishing to the web. This is super quick. It'll be a little choppier than normal because I only put in a couple slides. If I go to publish to the web, I get this window. I'm going to adjust the timing down to move every second. And I want to start the slideshow as soon as the player loads. This is the link that I want to copy. Remember, this is a demonstration for today. Once I've copied the link, I'm going to make a new window. And I'm going to paste that link in. The part that I want you to see, there's a 1,000 at the end. That's how long it's going to take for each slide. 1,000 is going to be the equivalent of 1 second. I want to shorten that down. I'm going to put 250 in, and I'm going to hit return. Once I hit return, it's going to load that page, and we'll see the animation happen on the slide. This was a real quick one with just 7 slides. But I can see the animation moving across. The more slides that I put, the shorter the increments and the changes I make, the more fluid the animation becomes. So one of the other pieces that we provide for you with this is an example of a storyboard template so that students have that storyboarding experience built in from the beginning. All of these resources are available for you at the end. Remember, your last or your clue from this session was storyteller. I'm going to toss this back over to Marianne and send you on your way to the next level.
Now on to our next field guide, Kim the leader, as we hike our way to level 3, collaborating in the frigid Arctic of Jamboard.
Good morning, everyone. As the presentation resources are being shared with me so I can share my screen with you, I want to give you just a little bit of background about Jamboard. So Jamboard is essentially Google's answer to an interactive whiteboard experience. So if you're familiar with using smartboard tools or maybe Promethean or Interwrite board tools, it's similar but way different. So I'll give you that clue. I'll also give you some advance warning because in just a second, I'm going to ask that you join me on a Jamboard. However, I have more than 700 people in my class today. You're never going to have, hopefully, 700 people in your class. So with that being said, when this link for this Jamboard goes into chat, only 50 people are going to be able to interact with it at one time. So you will get a message that says that you're not able to edit or you might be locked out. So that's your hint ahead of time because only 50 live people can be collaborating on a Jamboard at one time. However, the link will be active. So at some point later, you want to come and interact with it, you can. Or today I'm going to show you how to create your own jam, and that will give you an opportunity to interact. So as you interact with the Jamboard that I already have open, the question that I want you to reflect on is, based on the things you've seen so far, we started with a Google form that you're filling out all of your clues on. We went into Clarissa's use of drawing. She showed you how to bring in social media and connect that to whatever your learning experience is. If there's an image that you want to help convey an idea of something that you're teaching, you can use drawings to help with that. Jake showed you how you can use slides with animation, and I'm about to show you collaborating with Jamboard. So as you jump into the Jamboard, the question that you're reflecting on is, how can you use Google tools to help create an interactive experience? So I'm already in my jam. As a matter of fact, this one tool is called a jam. I can see several people are joining, and again, your limit is 50. So everybody's not going to be able to join all at one time. But for those of you that are here, I want to point out that in order to add ideas on this jamming, there's a clue, Jamboard, A quick thing that you can do is you'll notice that over on the left-hand side of my screen, I have a toolbar, and that helps me interact with my jam. The fourth icon down is actually a sticky note. So if I wanted to post my own ideas on this jam, I could do that by choosing a sticky note. Notice I have a color palette that I can choose a sticky note from, and I can add my idea on my sticky note. Once I click save, it automatically launches onto the jam. And of course, mine went away automatically. I can move it around, so forth and so on. So some of you are figuring out that you can collaborate with me on this jam. So I see some ideas, have a written discussion. So in just a minute, this is probably going to get really full. So you'll notice at the top, I have some arrows to allow me to move along. So if you just want to jump to a different jam, you can. But you can do that with the arrow key moving forward. So for those people that have had a chance to jump in, I'll ask that you go ahead and jump out so that it opens the door for other people to collaborate. So again, you can navigate up at the top to move to a different jam, a different frame in my jam. But go ahead and spend a little bit of time here. But I'm going to leave you and jump out. And I noticed that somebody cleared my frame completely. But feel free to jump into another frame in your jam. And I'm going to jump back to the presentation. So feel free to join me back there as well. All right. So let me give you a little bit more information about Jamboard now that some of you have had a chance to collaborate. So what exactly is a jam? I gave you kind of a heads up that Jamboard is Google's collaborative digital whiteboard, but it's more than just a whiteboard, it's an experience. Because the cool thing is, you don't actually need a whiteboard. I do not have a Jamboard in my house at this moment, but the actual board is called the Jamboard kiosk. However, what you're now working on, for those of you that are still collaborating, is on the web experience. So for those of you that are still there and want to come out, feel free to just close the jam. You probably have an X at the top of your browser. So if you close the jam and find your way back to the actual WebEx environment, you're able to see the tips that I'm sharing with you. So what you're collaborating on is Jamboard on the web. You can actually get to it in 3 different ways, and I'll show you those 3 ways in just a second. Again, you can join me in building your own Jamboard, or you can just watch. That can be your option for today. But a Jamboard is not just available on the web, it's also a mobile app. So if you have an iPad, or if your students have iPads, or if your students are working on their phone, they can collaborate on a jam. Or on an Android phone or an Android device, they can collaborate. I'll give you a tip in Prince George's County. If you happen to have Android tablets, most of you probably don't, but if you happen to have an Android tablet in your classroom, you probably will not be able to use the Jamboard app because we don't have the Play Store, which is where our apps come from on the Android devices. We don't have the Play Store enabled in Prince George's County, so you're not able to collaborate on an Android tablet in Prince George's County. So that's just an FYI. So what can you do on a Jamboard? On the web, these are the features that you'll see. Most of them you saw on the toolbar that we just showed you. So there's a pen tool, there's an eraser, there's a color palette, both on the pen tool as well on the sticky note, which you saw. A select tool allows me to move things around, and of course you can search for images. The cool thing is with Google, everything automatically saves, and it saves in Drive. So you can always go back and find your jams if you need to. The iOS version of Jamboard gives you everything that I just said, but a little bit more. You'll be able to see some of these features a little bit later. So if I'm on my iPhone or iPad, I can jump into the same jam that somebody else might have opened on the web, but I can do what's called handwriting recognition. Which means that I can write something, I can annotate, and then it will automatically recognize it as some like a typewritten text. The same thing happens with shapes. There's a presentation tool, camera, as well as it integrates with Drive. So if you have if you have a presentation or something of that nature that you want to bring into Drive, you can do that. Android offers all of that and more. So everything that I've just mentioned, and you see a few more items that you can do. So today, here's some examples of how you can use Jamboard in the classroom. There are quite a few templates here. So if you see something that you really like, you can feel free to click on it and click the blue copy that shows up so that you're able to use it for yourself. But I'll jump in and kind of show you some just basic ways. Of course, this is for brainstorming. So typically you're looking for something that you can quickly annotate on. Ideally, if your students have some touchscreen device, it's easier to annotate with their finger, especially with the pen tool. But they don't have to. You can add sticky notes and things like that. So here's some examples of different graphic organizers. And again, if you clicked on any of these icons, which will be and already are available on our remote teaching site as resources, you can feel free to join them. The other thing is that a lot of people have put together ideas and ways to use them. So a few things that I'll point out are that if you'd like to, you can actually combine this with other tools. I'm sure you're probably already wondering, well, can I create a jam and assign it to my students so that they can go ahead and brainstorm? You can absolutely do that. So as you know, in Classroom, you can add a link to an assignment for them to either edit themselves or they can work together in partners and edit. So Classroom works wonderfully. In addition to that, with Screencastify. So as a teacher, if I'm recording a lesson with Screencastify, I can open a jam and very easily demonstrate what exactly I'm trying to show them with the jam. You can do that with Zoom or with Google Meet or whatever your virtual classroom looks like. So this is a jam that puts together about 20 different ideas that other teachers have had for ways to use a Jamboard. So again, this resource will be available and is already available on our remote teaching site. And there's also some videos that give you some step-by-step tutorials if you need some more help with using Jamboard. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you, as our jamming mission for us today, I'm going to show you how you can start a jam on the web. Again, you can follow along with me, or you can choose to just watch. I'm going to show you how to navigate and duplicate frames. As a matter of fact, a frame is just one slide on a jam. You can edit using the toolbar, and I'm going to show you how you can share your jam. All right. So first of all, how do you get started? I'm going to go to my mail. And whenever you're logged into your Prince George's County account, you're using Chrome, you got all that set up because you recognize that that is the best way that Jamboard will work. So in my mail, I'm going to go up to the 9 boxes at the top. And when I click on the 9 boxes, I'm able to see the 9 boxes are called the Apps Launcher. From the Apps Launcher, I'm going to click on Jamboard. So if I scroll down, I'll find Jamboard in my list of tools. But it might be a little further down at the bottom. So if I decide I really like Jamboard, I can drag and move it further up to the top if I want, just as you can with any of these other tools. So this is one way that you can get to Jamboard. And of course, if you clicked it, it would open a new one for you. Or I can go into my Drive. This is way number 2. So from my apps launcher, I can go into Drive. And from my Drive, I can click on New. And I'm not going to see it in this list, this original list. I'll have to click on More. And then in the secondary list that opens a little bit further down for me is Google Jamboard. So I'm going to choose to open a new jam from here. The third way that I mentioned is just by when you're logged in as yourself into the browser, you can go into, you can type jamboard.google.com the same way you could with any other of Google's tools, docs.google.com, drive.google.com, so forth and so on. So again, on this jamming mission, we're going to learn some features about Jamboard today. Right now, my jam is Untitled. So if I click in the top right corner, I'm going to name my jam Jumanji Next Chapter. And then you'll notice that I have undo, redo, and some other things that might be familiar to you. Some people already realize that clearing the frame means that you can absolutely remove everything that's there. So one thing that I don't necessarily like about Jamboard yet is that if I added something there, it doesn't prevent somebody else from removing it. And there isn't revision history the same way there is for other Google tools. So you have to really frame it correctly, spell out your requirements for using Jamboard before you jump in. So keep that in mind. Also, I will point out that there are these three dots up at the top. You can click on it and you can send feedback. So I've already sent feedback that it'd be nice if there was a way that we could at least see revision history. So keep that in mind from the three dots. Okay, share. So I'm going to start editing my jam using the toolbar over on the side. First thing I'm going to do is use my sticky note, which I've already shown you how to use. The fourth icon down from the left-hand toolbar, I'm going to put in my writing prompt. My prompt is, if there were a next chapter of a Jumanji movie, what would the plot be? And you'll notice as I'm typing, the little blue bar kind of shows up at the bottom. It lets me know how much more text I can fit on this toolbar. I'm going to remind them to include characters and setting. That would be something. A global pandemic probably wouldn't be too difficult to see. So I don't have another sticky note to add right now, so I'm just going to click cancel. When I click on my sticky, I can rearrange it. I can also make it larger with the handles at the bottom, the little blue circles. So I'm going to make mine a little bit larger. You'll notice that one of the handles has an arrow on it in the top left corner, so I can rotate it and move it around that way if I want it. I also see three dots in the top right corner. If I clicked on that, it lets me edit, duplicate, as well as delete. So that's how to add a sticky and adjust it. From my toolbar over on the left-hand side, I can also add an image. So near the bottom, the second one from the bottom is the image. So this image search is familiar all across all Google tools. I can upload my own images, do a Google search, which is what I'll do. You can add images from Google Drive or your own photos. So when I click in the Google image search, I'm searching for Jumanji today, and I'm just going to find an image that I like. And again, just like my sticky note, once my image appears, I can move that around as well. Now, this is where on the web gets a little weird because I'm going to use the pen tool. If I were to just click on the pen, I'm on my Mac right now. I'm using the web-based version. So for me, it's hard to use my trackpad to write at the same time. So this is where having a different device that allows me to annotate with like my finger is helpful, especially for kids. I can do it, but it's not cute, right? So on this particular on this particular frame, which is one page of the jam, I put the word characters, but I realized that on the next slide, I want them to focus on the setting. So what I'll do, instead of just retyping this whole thing, I'm gonna go up to the top where I have my frames listed. And if I click on the drop-down menu, I can see that I have one frame. So I can add another one either before or after this one, but I can also duplicate this frame and just make adjustments. So notice from that little thumbnail at the top, in the top right corner, there's three dots. If I were to click on that, it lets me click duplicate. Now I have two frames. So on my frame 2, which I'll navigate to, I'm going to change characters and I'm going to make this the setting of the story. So I'm going to use my eraser tool this time, which is the second tool from the toolbar, and I'll just erase the word characters. And I decided, I really don't like this gray pen. I wonder if there are other pens available. So you'll notice that on my pen tool, there's actually a little arrow just to the right of the pen tool. So if I clicked on that arrow, it lets me change it into a different type of pen. So I have markers, highlighters, paintbrush, and I can change the color. So I'm going to change this color and I'm going to make this the setting of the story. Well, I'm going to decide that, you know what? I'm done with this for now. I'd like to share this with other people. So I'm going to click on share at the top. The sharing settings are similar across all Google tools. Right now, I'm the owner. It's not shared with anyone, but I know that I want my colleagues to help out. So I'm going to add Jake to my jam. I'm going to add Marianne. If I could type today. And I'll add Clarissa. And they're all going to be editors. And I'm going to click send. You'll notice them jumping in just a second. And they're using different devices than on the web. So they're going to show you some other features. I'm going to click back on share and point out that at the bottom where it says get link, if I wanted to copy this link and put it into Classroom for my students, I could do that. I could change this link so that people could become viewers or editors for this if I just want to post the link somewhere else. But you'll notice that my friends have come in, Clarissa and Jake. I believe Jake is on his iPad, so you'll notice that he's actually using an assistive drawing feature. So he drew something that looks like a cat, but I'm hoping in just a second that cat might change into, notice how quickly and easily he's able to add items. Now, while they're doing that, that's the assistive drawing feature. I'm pointing out clear frame, which again will clear everything on this frame, whatever anyone has written. I can also change the background. So if I want to put for math people, if I want to change the background so it has like a graph paper somewhat background, you can do that. You can also, from the three dots, download the whole thing as a PDF, all of the frames. I could save one frame. I can remove this frame, make a copy of the entire piece as I want to. So you can see how my friends are working with other features that are not necessarily available on the web-based version. I want to point out that on the eraser, it's only going to erase those things I annotated. So I can erase the cat, but I can't erase those things that look like text or look like individual items. All right, so that's Jamboard. I didn't mention this feature right here, open on a Jamboard, but if you actually have the whiteboard kiosk, you can open on a Jamboard and that continues wherever you are. So you can pick this up wherever you are. All right, so as we come back and in closing, we want to let you know that you have reached the end of our journey, right, Marianne?
Yes, trying to unmute myself, sorry. Congratulations, you have reached the end of the journey. You have captured the jewel and saved Jumanji. If you weren't able to capture the jewel to save Jumanji, have no fear. We have been putting it several times in the chat as well, but let's take a look at our locks. We asked you go to tinyrel.com/Jumanji breakout, and here you can see all of the answers to the, excuse me, to the different locks, but we're going to go in and show you in the Google form. So the first lock we gave you for free, the game lock, the answer is T3 rocks. And remember to make sure it's uppercase and no spaces. See how there's a notification, still locked, to try again. So we do T3 rocks, then click enter, the notification will go away. So social media lock is remote start.
Oh, that's why.
Sorry. And then storytelling is storyteller. Collaboration lock is jamming. And make sure there are no notification. It doesn't say any required or still locked. You'll then be able to submit. And it says, congratulations, you have captured the jewel and saved Jumanji. Click on the link to claim your reward. And when you click on it, it does a little short video saying, I found it, in case you don't know very well. You will click on the side to go to the next slide. You'll see us congratulating you again. And click one more time on the final slide. You'll see all of the resources that we have talked about today, tutorials, examples, and links, templates that you can automatically take and start using to customize for your needs.
So just to recap, we let you know at the beginning that this was more of an intermediate to advanced session. This wasn't to show you how to use the Google tools at the beginning stages. However, we have provided resources already on our site about using slides, um, about using some of the other tools that you were able to see today. Um, this was more of a way to show you how you can elevate the use of those things with your students. Um, and the resources again are available on the site. So as we discussed, Google Sheets, a pixel art sample. I don't know if anybody was able to do that as part of kind of like the thing that you did when you waited, but you were able to put in some clues in Google Sheets and see how conditional formatting can kind of help with build a picture in a Google Sheet. You've been using our digital breakout template to help you lock and unlock items. We use features like data validation, and we adjusted the form responses in that to be able to see how you can use forms in a different way. For drawings, Clarissa showed you how, first of all, your kids are on social media, whether they should be or not, 13 and over is legally what they should do. But she showed you how you can use drawings, which can be a tool for a lot of different things, but how you can use a TikTok social media template to bring in the use of drawings. But there's a tutorial as well. For slides, Jake showed you how you can elevate with just a few simple clicks how to use animation in slides. I showed you collaborating on a Jamboard and how to use it for graphic organizers. And then, of course, we didn't teach Bitmojis. I hope y'all have been to our Bitmoji session. If not, please go. But if you're curious about how we animated ours, we actually use slides and Creator Studio to do it. So try it out on your own. So Renee's going to help close out our session with just a few reminders.
Thank you all again for joining us in this session. If you need a location for all of the additional resources, please go to our Poly website, well, our remote teaching website, sorry, and click on the second link across the top. On this site, you'll also find information where you can add your attendance and a link to all of the resources for today. There will be a recording of this session in case you want to review it, and all of the links for the sorry, all of the other resources. Who's doing this? Is Kim? Okay. And we want to continue this summer. We're getting ready for our webinar Wednesdays. The topics are not selected yet. When you are on the previous slide, can you go back for 1 second, guys? We need you to complete that survey. That will help us in selecting activities for our webinars this summer that will meet your needs as we prepare for the fall. Our webinar dates are July 8th, July 15th, and July 22nd. So join us this summer for Webinar Wednesdays. And thank you all again for being a part of this exciting session. Here's all of our contact information. And hope you have a good rest of the summer and good close out of the school year.
Thank you, everyone.